Hello, everyone, and welcome back to more nasty gameplay. And this time we have Wochills versus Chikara Eclipse. And interestingly, we have Ken Clam playing instead of Lyrian Liars for Wochills, and it's going to be an interesting player to watch, as he was one of the main players who played during the qualification series for Wochills.
Yeah, so definitely good to see Ken Clam back. He's playing Kai. Aimi was taken by Cragley here. We will have to see what happens with the midfield, because ZZZ playing on the DUBU a little bit slow, despite I believe taking Among Titans. I think everybody has Among Titans. Yes. Oh, except for ZZZ who took EE. Okay, so they secure first point. I think it's wild. ZZZ is going to be a little larger than the rest of them, but obviously a little slower. So once again, Ken Clam coming in a little more important for Ken Clam to be present. But
Yeah,
everybody kind of having some issues.
Yeah, it looks like there are some internet issues, I think. Probably on the side of Zonseki primarily, as he was lagging out that last point. But hey, in the meantime, right, talking about this, ZZZ picking up the explosive entrance and pummelers. Yeah, he doesn't have the explosive speed, but the damage and KO potential is very big, and it's what ZZZ is really known for.
Yeah, so once they get the ball over to ZZZ, or once Sanseki or Cragley strays a little too close to edge, we can see some cool finishes coming in. I mean, that's a scary Tofu Fortress already, with ZZZ having that energy already as well.
Yeah, flip burned out by Cakes in the corner. Cragley holding his flip way too long, and ZZ punishes him for it, uses his own flip, and now Kenclam in the corner with ZZZ. A great X Maximus to save the barrier. Not long enough, though, as one barrier falls each side. Zonseki has the flip. Kenclam needs to be very careful while playing this corner. So does ZZZ. Cragley bringing up slowly. Cakes with a greedy play still makes it work out as Zonseki commits that flip. And now the offense is changing hands as the damage is being dropped onto Zonseki, who nearly finishes off ZZZ. A great save out by Scandals. The Era NATO being dropped that bottom side. Needs to be careful about the snipe. And now both brawlers are nearly taken off the map, and ZZZ is barely saved. I think thanks to that Era Beam redirect. A great body block out by Cragley on that Giga Blast, and it looks like they're buying enough time for Zonseki to come back.
Yeah, I mean, ZZZ doing another roll. His wall should be coming up soon as well, and maybe he can get past through Scandals. Scandals does burn his flip there, but that explosive entrance pickup really coming in good for ZZZ on this first set. He's not missing out on too much of the action, and he's finding kills here and there as well, making this a very scary Wochills comp, at least on the first set here. And Sanseki also brought low again.
Yeah, and I mean, part of that is thanks to that explosive entrance, making sure he can close the distance, roll fast, and do the damage. Zonseki once again staggered. I think has the X Maximus, but the barrage means he can't activate. A great flip out by Cakes into the corner. Still stuck in that corner it is, and Cragley with a great shot directly takes the barrier. Zonseki dies, but so do the chances of Wochills taking a second goal, as a great shot by Cragley takes it, I believe.
I mean, nobody can deny that Wochills is playing the game that they want to play. I mean, you can see ZZZ doing a backwards log, trying to finish off Sanseki there, and Ken Clam also not shy about just retreating back and using the barrages onto Sanseki. Whoever's probably low, and ZZZ goes down, unfortunately, but again, Wochills is playing the game that they want, whether they win or lose here. Nobody can argue that for sure.
Yeah, ZZ caught sleeping for just a moment, and Cakes may have to pay the price. Yes, he does, after a great bull rush from Zonseki setting it up. And one thing I didn't really get to mention here is the fact that Eclipse, not only is their comp itself very strong traditionally in the current meta, it's also just a bunch of signature picks, right? Cragley originally making his name on the Aimi, Zonseki with the X. These are comfort picks, and when the comfort picks are also meta, it becomes very dangerous for the opposing team. And now Kenclam has to burn the flip because of it. Just goes right back to the opposite side. It feels so bad for Wochills right now.
Yeah, I mean, Ken Clam still does get the barrier with a great Giga. DUBU's seeing some EE value here with the longer rolls. I think getting this set's going to be... I always say this, I feel, but I think the first set's going to be really, really important for both teams, as DUBU wants to scale a little more, and I think if Zonseki gets a little more scaling and outscales DUBU, it's going to be a really scary moment for Eclipse here. So both teams really want to seal the deal here on this ever-important first set, but right now it's definitely Chikara Eclipse looking to be in a strong position. It sounds like he pushes up with the flip.
Yeah, pushes up with the flip. There's still one more in the hands of Scandals. Cakes need to be very careful as his corner offense is a little dangerous. KenClam shrunk, ZZZ hit, and that is the first set in favor of Chikara Eclipse, looking pretty dominant thus far. And mind you, this is an Era X, so they're going to keep scaling.
Yeah, so we're going into draft. We're seeing some key awakenings here. I think Monumentalist is one. Team Player really stands out here. We already see hovering over Team Player is Cakes. I think this Reptile Remedy is another one that we can see some value out of, but correctly with the Super Surge, I definitely see the reason for it as well. And Monumentalist does go over to Era, which means Team Player does cascade down here to Cakes, and hopefully that lets him chain a few more passes to his forwards. But we're going to be seeing Reptile Remedy and Adrenaline Rush from ZZZ. I think that's really huge because he's always been ready to kill, right? Pummeler's EE DUBU. So if he can make this happen, he can snowball as well. So honestly, value picks from both sides. I don't think either are unhappy about this, but ZZZ is going to have to prove himself that he is worthy of that Adrenaline Rush.
Paolo, you may have seen it. I was eyeing that Adrenaline Rush the moment I saw ZZZ is there, Adrenaline Rush is up. He does not go for anything else there ever. And, well, it may not have worked this point, but it might work in future points, and I really look to see if ZZZ can provide that value. He has the explosive entrance, he has the pummelers, but he was nowhere in that point after getting KO'd within a few seconds.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough situation to be in as ZZZ because you did give up extra special, so your Tofu Fortress is coming out a little later because of that Adrenaline Rush, but again, ZZZ isn't really here for core control. He's here to smack people around and roll on them, hopefully more than one people. And so yeah, so we really need to see ZZZ be reined in, and so far it does look like they are doing a good job of it. And yeah, that Era Monumentalist NATO, it just makes it so much easier, but ZZZ taking out the goalie of Chikara Eclipse now.
Oh, and what a great ensnare jumps. Cakes, no! But the flip from Cakes, he saves it after a nearly deathly blunder, and now ZZZ, he needs to convert here. He needs to not die as he is taking so much damage. Denied one orb, perhaps denied a second, has to burn the evade, and still the stagger continues to remain. He isn't given an opportunity to heal. Does get the speed, does move up, and now KenClam has to keep this midfield game alive. So much damage, and ZZZ, I think this X Maximus is probably coming up very soon, but Cakes, no, we can't have it happen twice.
No second save to save the core this time as Eclipse continue their momentum, taking a 2-0 lead here on the second set. And hopefully ZZ can find his footing again, but it's a really tough time to be, honestly, a DUBU and Kai against an Era goalie, because Kai getting shrunk, DUBU getting shrunk, and yeah, and now stuffing potential, so much stuffing potential here from X, as we do see a quick third point come out secured by Chikara Eclipse as they have a 2-0 set lead now.
Yeah, as much as I'm giving WOAH Chills so much flack, it's hard to deal with this. And likely this Aimi here will pick up Deadeye, which is going to look even more brutal for the side of Eclipse.
Yeah, I think, Fight or Flight coming out for Aimi, which makes sense as well. Yeah, but Big Fish on the table here might be really scary on the X, and no specialized training coming out for Kai. So X actually opting for Might of Colossus here, so a little bit more scaling actually coming out, especially with the Era Beam. Who does take Deadeye. I think that might be a deny on Cakes as well. But yeah, so I definitely think here, after the dust settles, Eclipse kind of came out with the better value awakenings here. But ZZZ taking Missile Pro, I mean, this man just continues to go his own way here. This Missile Pro is going to help a lot in KOing and hopefully setting up some Tofu Fortress stuffing walls as well, because that is what they desperately need right now is WOAH Chills. But ZZZ has to say that immediately backwards wall trying to finish off Sanseki.
Yeah, and while ZZZ wants to be doing the KOing, but the person who's nearly getting KO'd is Cakes, the damage continues to stay. A good backstep to live, but he does fall in the end. KenClam nearly with the barrage saving it, but it's just the pass to Cragley, and Cragley secures it so easily. Now that the X, the Aimi, the Era have scaled, there is so much damage on them, and it's so tough to deal with.
Yeah, I think we might see a bit of a monster here with Cragley, with the Super Surge, with the Deadeye. He honestly doesn't pale in comparison to ZZZ's KO potential here with the EE. And and Missile Pro, and yeah, just getting Cakes low time and time again. Poor Cakes hasn't had enough time to build up any sort of energy, and KenClam has to fall back, unfortunately, and kind of help Cakes live, and that's not what WOAH Chills want to be doing, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately there for WOAH Chills, Zonseki takes the goal, and then there's still 3 flips on the side of Chikara Eclipse. This is looking all but done and dusted unless WOAH Chills has something to say about it.
Yeah, Eclipse looking to be in a very commanding position to close out game 1. Cakes fighting back with all he can, and KenClam also with a great defense. But yeah, Cradley setting up the dangerous turret with flips from Cradley and Scandals. This might be it, and there it goes in. Cradley, wonderful finish coming out from Eclipse.
Yeah, Chikara Eclipse, very well played, and that first game, yes, it was Chikara Eclipse's map pick. It doesn't look ideal for them, or at least from the side of WOAH Chills. You just take this back. This is an 11.5 minute game. That was that dominant. ZZZ barely having a chance into the game. Yes, 4 KOs, but it was hard to convert anything from there.
Yeah, every time they want to get some action done, Scandals with Beam, KenClam, or ZZZ, and there you go. You're slowed now, and you're on a character that wants to go fast. KenClam, even in the face of all this adversity, coming out with 120 weak red, valiant effort put up by the defensive duo Cakes and KenClam, but unfortunately this game does go to Chikara Eclipse.
Yeah, and with that, we'll be taking a short break. We'll be joining you back for Game 2 within a few moments. And welcome back to Game 2, guys. We're back once again, this time on Demon Deus, WOAH Chills map pick. And on the blue side, double Siphoning Wand, whereas we have double Mag Souls on the left side, so definitely a trade-off for damage versus speed here. But notably, everyone picked Fight or Flight on the Fight or Flight cast last start.
Yeah, I think ZZZ and KenClam have some people they might want to be killing in this round, with the double Wand start really setting the tone, as Scandals already brought low, being chased around by ZZZ. But they have a hill to climb here, and they really need to execute their comp well to get around Eclipse. But good, nice first point coming out from ZZ, bullying Scandals off the map and getting the goal in. And we'll see if WOAH Chills can continue.
So I think the first thing there is, yeah, well done on bullying Scandals, but a very smart play by ZZZ to recognize his job wasn't to actually take the shot there. It was to bull rush Cradley so he would be too far away to deal with anything. And well, it worked out. So much damage coming onto primarily the side of Chikara Eclipse, and Tofu Fortress cordons off an area, but not the area you want there. The kill found on both the Aimi and the DUBU, and it's because the DUBU falls to Scandals that the goal is found, and ZZZ, that X-Maximus, wasted at this point.
Yeah, Cakes actually didn't take Pauldrons here. He did take Strike Shot, which I think left him a little vulnerable to Aimi's misdirection. But WOAH Chills' game plan does not change. They still gotta soldier on here and, yeah, take people off the map just like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing absolutely just that. Zonseki is Zentaro in a dream here. No evade to work with, but he is working with it so well here. Saving the barrier again and again. It just gets cleared. Cradley and Scandals revive, and now Zonseki, he is looking a little low, but one barrier taken, potentially two, as Scandals is taking a lot of damage. So many abilities thrown his way, and a good particle accelerator by Cakes. The Tofu Fortress timing out so perfectly, but it's just slowed down for a moment as ZZZ is just punching everything in the general direction of Zonseki, and while he doesn't fall, there is a lot of hurt laid into him.
Yeah, WOAH Chills making sure Zonseki never sees another orb in Zentaro's life, and yeah, it's looking a lot more comfier on WOAH Chills. This is their preferred map, but KenClam not afraid to use his abilities for control as well as damage, and it looks like Cakes' DUBU a lot more potent here, and ZZ kind of gets to do his stuff at the front lines instead of kind of having to fall back like on Night Market. So we're seeing the push coming out from Cradley, but even that is denied by Cakes, a masterful Tofu Fortress, as well as KenClam there to back him up. So yeah, WOAH Chills doing a great first set here compared to Night Market.
Yeah, and bear in mind, KenClam just finally unstaggering there for a moment, the stagger bug showing, but Zonseki, a great angle there on the Oni Blade and it catches Cakes off guard. And you'd think at this point that WOAH Chills was ahead, but no, they're actually down 1 point despite what the game has felt like.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a game where another game where WOAH Chills want to be snowballing and continue the damage, make sure that they are in control of who gets the stagger awakenings coming up, like Bulk Up, Reptile Remedy. I mean, but yeah, again, when the dust settles, it's the points are for Eclipse here, and Zonseki brought low again, but Cragley with the core control, right? So WOAH Chills really want to convert some of these KOs that they're getting into goals, and they're doing their best to make it happen.
Yeah, but their best might not be enough at this point, as KenClam is taking a lot of damage. Cakes not in the best situation, no momentum, no pauldrons, means he really has to make use of this strike shot so well, and that big finish placed in a deadly position, and deadly it is, as Zonseki finishes off the set with an EI rush. Despite a strong start with damage, WOAH Chills falters really quickly, and this draft could be very dangerous for them.
Yeah, the momentum WOAH Chills has could be halted here as we see the team player coming out, recovery drone, reptile remedy, all might be some good awakenings to have. I really think Zentaro's reptile remedy is going to be really nice. It's going to keep Zon more in there. Let's sync up, and answering back with an aggressive awakening of his own is the adrenaline rush here. Neither team opting for team player yet, but yeah, there we go. We're going to see Cakes take the team player. But that does mean that Aimee is left with prime time, and I don't think Scandals is unhappy at all about that. We're going to see a lot of damage coming out from Chikara Eclipse as well. Maybe they can match WOAH Chills' damage toe-to-toe here.
Yeah, I don't know, I think I still favor WOAH Chills here on this draft, is because now ZZZ wasn't really always trying to go for Zonseki with the damage, right? It's just Zonseki happened to be in those situations, and yeah, he gets the goal there. But ZZZ, his goal this whole game has primarily been to focus down Scandals and Cragley, and they don't really have anything to particularly help them with that from that draft, while ZZZ picked up 1-2 punch, and there's a stinger on KenClam too, so a lot of damage for WOAH Chills. KenClam falls there, but it could turn around very fast.
Yeah, I mean, Cragley so far is getting use out of his adrenaline rush, and yeah, I think it might have been as much of a deny as it was a pick for him, but yeah, he's getting a lot of value here. Zonseki and Cragley, even though they're getting stingered down, they're making a lot out of it, but Cragley, doesn't go down here. And yeah, it's still Eclipse getting the double barriers here, and ZZZ having to fall back again, can't put as much pressure as he wants on the back lines of Chikara Eclipse, as it's Eclipse offense once again coming in.
Yeah, and I mean, the Eclipse offense so deadly. You have an Oni's Blade stacked with a big finish, stacked with Cragley just standing there in the corner to make that corner clear impossible. And even though the damage is getting dumped, the positioning from Chikara Eclipse to capitalize on the moments where they aren't being too threatened by damage is so good for them.
ZZ walking forward to try to intimidate some members of Chikara Eclipse. Unfortunately, he is put low on stagger, cannot finish off Cragley. There we go. Now gets off the field, and now Zon's pushed down. This is the point they have to get. This is the scenario that WOAH Chills wants on Demon Dice.
Okay, but Scandals could 1v3 this here, and it's not looking unlikely in that regard, as he stalls it long enough for both his forwards to return. But now this is a 1v1 that's so dangerous, and ZZZ, he puts it in. That was absolutely needed for WOAH Chills if they wanted to keep themselves alive in this series.
Yeah, WOAH Chills finally kind of demonstrating why their draft was so potent here. ZZZ getting 1-2 value, and Cakes turning the defense from his barrier to offense, getting that faster core with team player. Obviously, team player isn't going to be as impressive as it was pre-nerf until overtime, but even so, we're going to see some core speed coming out here from Cakes.
That core speed indeed, and look at Cragley's HP bar. It was here, and now it's not. KenClam needs to be careful. Lives for the time being and keeps the core forward with the power cord, and ZZZ taking Cragley off the map, looking to convert with this barrier here. Cakes, he tries to keep this core forward, but Zonseki is playing that midfield on the defense so well with the Zentaro. Pass down to Cragley, who tries to convert this offense, but the damage is still there on the members of Chikara Eclipse, and now Scandal's in a very tough situation. Good strike war 1, but maybe not for long as this Toku Fortress cordons off an area, and ZZZ still doesn't get it. Such a good defense. Finally, that barrier falls, and the strike war is won by the X, and that is exactly what WOAH needs. And as they say, all it takes is a trickle to start a flood.
Yeah, it looks like WOAH have finally found their footing on the bottom of second set. Then, as a result, we're seeing Eclipse's draft kind of lose their meaning. The Adrenaline Rush is not going to do much if you're being the one taken off the field. And yeah, Zonseki, his Reptile Remedy is putting in work, but there's only so much Centauro can do, right? If Finny and Aimi are taken off the field. So yeah, we're seeing a lot more showing from WOAH here, and it looks like they're in a good position to take set 2 for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, great evade by ZZZ there, allowing himself to regen for just a moment, if anything. And now, yeah, he does get taken to the edge of stagger, but he's regenning. He's not taking any damage. Look at that. He's finally being brought back into an even somewhat healthy state, and now he can participate in these plays again, while KenClam is the one that's suffering on the defense here, finally taken off the map, and this point is so crucial for WOAH's life. And unfortunately for them, Zonseki finds a great thread through that goal gate opening, and Eclipse up 2-0 in sets.
Yeah, I feel like I'm cursing WOAH every time I kind of say good things about their draft and how they're playing out the point. It leads to some terrible moments. But yeah, we're seeing some explosive entrance. Yeah, there we go, taken by Zentaro. Among Us might be a pick that could be taken. I don't think it's going to be taken on the side of WOAH. If anything, it might be taken by Eclipse, but Twin Drive on Finny is gonna let her just sprinkle magic Finny dust on everything. But we're gonna see spec training on KenClam, so it's gonna make his ults a lot more potent. So we just see WOAH adding on heaps of damage to their comp, and I think the big pickup here for Zonseki and Scandals is that more dash available from Zonseki, as well as the more secondary available for Finny.
I mean, the ability of Twin Drive to just provide more secondaries allows Eclipse to even somewhat compete in that damage department with WOAH, just because of the fact that, hey, there's that damage amp, and that's part of why Cakes is just taken completely off the map. And where can the DUBU go but to the grave as Zonseki EI rushes both him and the core in?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing both those Awakenings show their moments. As Scandals, he can now commit a secondary to being defensive, zoning out ZZZ, and he can also damage Cakes freely. And again, Cakes, no pauldron, he is a strike shot DUBU, and that means he is a little more vulnerable to these pushes that Eclipse are doing with damage.
Yeah, and now looking at Cakes once again, no evade this time, so this next set of damage that's going to be dropped on him is going to stick. Already that slice and dice drop, the Oni's Blade drop. Zonseki with the flip to the top side. Cakes just has to guess and hope that Zonseki makes a mistake. But in that situation, you can't be making mistakes. And now Chikara Eclipse is 1 point away from taking the series.
Yeah, they really want the series. Zonseki, even though they're in such a lead, is still very focused. He is very aware of Cradley kind of clearing the way for him with that glitch pop in the top left corner, and immediately core flips it through it. And yeah, quick barrier taken by Eclipse as they look to take the series 2-0 with the turret coming down.
Yeah, the turret comes down, and now it's all but over. Scandals stepping up, trying to build this flip. Cradley passed down to Scandals, and Scandals flips it, goes to the top side, and that's Eclipse taking the series 2-0. A dominant showing against WOAH.
I think that last draft might have been what tipped the scales, unfortunately. You see the Scandals Twin Drive coming in with the damage, and Zonseki's control has been so masterful this game. Once the core goes over on Cake's side, the pressure was really hard to lift on the side of WOAH.
Yeah, and once again, we see the damage here, right? KenClam, ZZZ especially known for the damage, but the other side had pretty comparable damage numbers, and it's because of that there was a big difference, because it's not just two people doing damage, right? Finny, Aimi, and Zentaro, all great contributors towards this KO comp, and we saw it, right? When one person would get damaged and fall back, you had another person coming in, doing the damage, and it's because of that they managed to survive and pull through.
Yeah, I think props to WOAH as well. They definitely picked the comp that they enjoy playing, and I think they executed it well. I mean, ZZZ, you have 29 redirects, but you have 7 KOs, so
Yeah.
ZZ has been doing a great job of clearing the way for King Sam and Cakes. Unfortunately, the Cliff was the ones who are going to pull out victorious today and continue their march on in NAST.
With that, thank you everyone. We'll send it over the next set of casters.